Hello, this is KeithUAPC, and I'm doing a commentary of a game I found as one of the featured games of the new spectator mode. Not quite new, spectator mode's been out for about a week now. This is a match play between some players. I don't really recognize anything, you probably won't either unless you happen in the same elo, but I will go through them and their heroes real quick. The game's actually the 3-minute mark because I can't rewind it to the very beginning, but anyways. Bebong on Ari, Squama on Shaco, Screech on Lulu, KO Loon on Ezreal, Bok Choi on Olaf, Chunandis on Graves, Cheeps on Rise, Shadow Champ on Wukong, Tevshu on Mumu, and Noznabor on Janna. So again, we're at the 3-minute mark, and I'm about to unpause it, and it looks like Mumu is fighting Shaco at their golems. Here we go. So Shaco is trying to counter jungle Mumu, but Mumu's pretty darn close to tower, so not much is going to happen. Mumu's at pretty low health. Shaco doing some damage. Shaco is... Oh, he actually forces the flash from Mumu, so Mumu down to about core health. The Olaf and the Wukong still just sort of fighting each other. Shaco is now taking these golems. They're paying and they want to stop him. Rise, Ari thought about coming up to help, then Rise, Room Prisoner to stop her, but then Ari got off the charm. Rise flashes away, but then Ari follows up with her flash, picking up the first blood, although she's quite low in exchange. Shaco is still trying to chase down this Amumu. This is very aggressive counter juggling type Shaco play. Probably pretty annoying. Shaco, one of the most frequently banned heroes, not so much because he's powerful, but just because people do not like playing against him, or even worse, playing with a Shaco on your team who doesn't know how to play Shaco can be very frustrating. Bottom lane, we have Graves Janna laning against Ezreal Lulu. Looks like the Graves Janna team is pushing the lane pretty hard. We'll see if they can keep that pressure up. Graves is already down to about half mana. The thing about Graves is he's a very strong hero in lane as long as he has mana. Once he runs out of mana, he is not so strong. His ability to burst suddenly disappears. Wukong just trading along with this Olaf very merrily. Did Ari go back to base? No, Ari did not go back to base after getting first blood. If I was her, I may have gone back to base after first blood just to pick up that Dorns and be able to continue extending my lead against Rise. But we see a Mumu coming in for perhaps a gank. He does have the blue buff to help him perhaps get off a second bandage toss. Follow up, the first bandage toss does land. Rise can pick up the Room Prison to extend that, chain that CC, plus the Ignite off on her. Finishes off the Ari very nicely. So good job from Amumu to land that chain prison, and good job from Rise to wait for the stun to expire before he fired out his Room Prison to chain that CC for the kill, for the win. And Olaf is just trading away with Wukong. How is their CS? Wukong Yipu is at 19, Olaf is at 29, so Olaf is being the bit more aggressive of the two, a bit up in CS. We see Amumu. He's sick and tired of Shaco trying to take his jungle. He is going to take Shaco's jungle. Shaco is just up at the race. I'm not sure if Shaco is aware of this, but Amumu does pull off the red steal. Bot lane, Lulu shielding up the Ezreal. Amumu is coming in for a gank from the side against them. Do they have any wards in their Tribush? No, they do not have any wards in the Tribush. However, there's a ward right there which spotted him. So they react to it back away. They're going in for a kill on the Janna. Graves gets a buckshot off, which misses Ezreal. Ezreal's been ignited. But a bit of a poor choice from Moon, a bit of poor communication. Shaco's coming in for the deceive over the wall. Perhaps, no, he's not going to make anything happen. They're a bit too far away. Rise, is he making play against this Ari? No, they're both just farming top lane. And we have Olaf, Wukong. Olaf is at much higher health than Wukong. He's continuing to be ahead in CS and push lane, play very aggressively. Looks like Wukong is not able to trade against him in lane against Wukong. Looks like he's going to need a bit of a help from his Amumu to turn the tide of that lane back in his favor. In the middle lane, things are pretty calm. Ari actually, after she went to die, she used that first blood money to pick up a couple Doran's rings, plus she dropped a ward over here. Amumu is farming up some race, doing some headbanging, perhaps going in for a gank on this Ari in a moment. Meanwhile, Graves at 43 CS to Ezreal's 31, so Graves has been doing a good job of out-CSing this Ezreal. Lulu is playing a bit passively, which is a bit surprising. Normally you see Lulu's playing a bit aggressively. She is leveling up her help picks instead of her Glitter Lance, which makes sense. If you're not going to be playing an aggressive Lulu, there's no reason to level Glitter Lance over her help picks. So Lulu and Janna are pretty similar. If Lulu, oh, a nice tornado from Janna actually knocks both of them in the air. Graves walking forward, getting off a buckshot, which unfortunately only hits Ezreal. Now he's dashing away. He has been ignited, and Janna now in a bit of trouble. She pops a shield on herself, but I'm pretty sure she's about to die. One more hit from Ezreal. Yes, one more hit from Ezreal. Janna does try and flash away, but the flash is a bit too little, a bit too late. Takes her down. So 2-1 now for the blue team, giving them a slight 600 gold lead as we are getting towards the second blue buff of the game. The blue buff, red buffs are respawning. We'll see if any of them are about to be contested, and it doesn't look like either team's going to contest them since neither team warded the enemies. They don't have any vision. Doesn't look like they're going to make any big plays for the blue buff, red buff respawn. Olaf is up at 37 CS, which is a bit underwhelming. He was at 31 not too long ago. Actually, Wukong's caught up a little bit, still behind, but Wukong has been catching up. Wukong going in to take his golems, since he doesn't feel that he can be aggressive against the Olaf, that he can't stand in melee, that Olaf would trade too effectively. He is just going to go back and get some golems. Meanwhile, Olaf pretty much has his frozen, though. This isn't going to work out for Wukong. Ari missing her orb deception on Ryze. Ryze is pretty high health. Ryze does have his blue buff. Unfortunately, Ari does not have her blue buff. Shaco took the blue buff, so it's going to be hard for Ari to lane against that Ryze, since Ryze has the blue buff and she does not. Ryze going in for a gank on the bottom lane. He has been spotted and pinged, and they're totally onto him. I'm not sure why he's going around this way. He's going in for a gank through the bushes is what he's doing. Meanwhile, Amumu going in for the bandage toss over the wall gank on Ari. Not really a gank because there was no one there to help him. He missed the bandage toss, but there wasn't really anything to follow up with it anyways. Ari going into the jungle to perhaps steal the race, but they're already gone. She does have her ally Shaco stealing the red buff. Shaco gonna get away with the red buff steal? Yes, Shaco steals the red buff. So they didn't make any plays for the blue buffs, but Shaco did make a play to take the red buff, and it was quite successful. So Shaco really hasn't been ganking too much. Typically with the Shaco, for a successful Shaco is usually the one who ganks early and successfully. If Shaco doesn't get strong ganks off, then he tends to fall off a little bit in the mid-late game. More so in the mid-game. The late game he can be quite strong, like the late game. But anyways, we have Ryze, who's been waiting for this lane gank for some time. He gets the Rune Prison off on Ezreal. However, Lulu ult him. I don't think Lulu needed to ult him. A bit of a wasted ult there from Lulu. Quick reaction time, but bad split-second decision making. Amumu trying to hold middle lane against this Ari, since Ryze went for the bot lane. Ryze, he spent so much time going in for that gank, and he wasted a lot of his time. The Graves ultimate and the buckshot and the Jana Tornado unfortunately just misses, and Ryze actually gets killed by Ezreal. So very poor play from the Ryze. He just spent a whole lot of time trying to get that gank, and he ends up dying. Shaco deceived over the wall. He hit the Graves with the slow, and he's exhausted the Graves. And the Shaco ult splits him up, so now he's got the clone, and Ezreal takes some tower hits. The Shaco clone going in on the Jana, not doing any damage to her. It's a good play by the Shaco. He waited to use his ultimate until the tower was about to kill him, and then he split up, so he did not die. Shaco perhaps thinking about going back to base to heal up and solo this dragon. They really probably should make a play for the dragon. They're all a bit too hurt, really. Ari is up to 74 CS, Ryze down at 37. So because of Ryze's play, he invested so much time in the attempted gank bottom lane. He's down 30, almost 40 CS against Ari, which is not good. Meanwhile, Amumu's been in the lane instead, and Amumu not really able to farm either. He's at 38 CS compared to Shaco's 39. It's pretty similar, but Amumu's is probably more gold because he's picking up the lane minions, which give a bit more gold than the average Wraith or Wolf that Shaco's been killing. So Amumu uses ultimate on Ari to get the stun off. Wukong's coming in too. As Wukong, Ari has ignited the Amumu. Now she's ulting away. One dash, she gets off the orb reception. Now she might turn this around. She does have one dash left, I believe, but not going to make anything happen. The Ezreal ultimate hits the Wukong, but still, again, not enough to get the kill. Oh, the Ari Charm actually lands on the Wukong, combined with the Orb Reception, enough for kill. Actually, almost enough for a kill on the Amumu in the back as well, who cancelled his recall somewhat bizarrely. I can't say I like this Ryze's play. He is ganking. Ryze is an okay ganking hero, but I don't know. He is really sacrificing a lot to try and go for these ganks. He's still only at 47 CS, Ari up to 85. So this roaming Ryze, the thing about roaming is it's always risky because staying in lane to farm is very safe. You can expect to get, some minion CS and it's very safe, whereas roaming is a lot riskier in the sense that you might get kills, but just as likely you might not. If you don't get those kills, then you fall behind, which is the risk that Ryze took, and it didn't work out for him. His team is now down 6-1, so there's some trouble, especially considering that Shaco is now starting up the dragon. We'll see if they can manage to stop this dragon from happening. They do have the ward here, so they're fully aware that this dragon is underway. Amumu's walking in. Wukong is a bit slower to the party. He really should have started coming down bottom, and say he's trying to push this mid lane out. So Graves and Amumu are here. However, Lulu and Ezreal have shown up as well. Amumu's ultimate is down. Unfortunately for him, he used it to get the kill in the mid lane. The Shaco clone is taking, actually it's the real Shaco, sorry, Janna ultimate pushes them away to reset the dragon. The Ezreal ultimate picks off the Amumu. Now Janna is trying to run away. She uses her shield on herself, but that is not good enough. She's going to die as well. And the Graves looks like he's going to get away. So the dragon has been picked up, and they have extended, the blue team has extended their kill lead by another 2 kills. So their gold lead is currently at 3k. I think that was poor play from the Wukong. He really needed to come help, and he just didn't. He sat and tried to farm middle, and that's not even his lane. He was supposed to be top lane. I guess this Ryze has switched top lane. He may be staying there because they may feel that Ryze can counter Olaf because his Rune Prison can prevent Olaf from harassing him. But Olaf does, of course, have that ultimate to get himself out of Rune Prison, and if Ryze overextends, he may get killed by that Olaf. I don't think Ryze can successfully stay in this lane against this Olaf. Ryze is only on the tier of the Goddess, which is a very snowbally type of item, whereas Olaf has picked up his Ninja Tabi Heart of Gold, which I suppose aren't that good. His MR is only at 60, so Ryze is better off than he could be, but Olaf is now trying to make a play. He misses the axe, he gets the Reckless Swing off, but he misses the Undertow. So Ahri using her ultimate to go in for a kill on this Wukong. Wukong uses his ultimate to knock her up. Lulu comes in on her broomstick, but not going to be able to make any place happen. Ahri uses the final charge of her charm or her ultimate just to get back in and get some more CS. Meanwhile, Ezreal's farming bottom lane alone. The Janna Graves should really be pressuring him since they did see the Lulu middle lane. They should know that this is a 2. They have the ward here, so they know that Lulu is nowhere to be found. They really should be trying to zone this Ezreal and deny him a bit harder. The Shaco going in for kill on the Ryze with all this Olaf. So much burst damage from that true damage. Even the Ahri was there for the Orb Deception, but Ryze did not live long enough. Just so much burst from the Shaco Olaf taking him out. Shaco pings the blue buff. We'll see if he gives this one to his Ahri or not. He's been a bit of a blue buff hog. He even has blue buff at the moment. He picked up the enemy blue buff, so he should be content to give this one away. But Ahri isn't coming down to pick it up. I guess she doesn't really want it. It's a tough position when you're in this position as a jungle, when you want to give your blue buff away, but the person you want to give it to just doesn't come. And it's like, man, come here already. Get the frickin' blue buff. You don't want to sit on your ass waiting all day. They might not even come. There may be no communication. He is like, no, he's going to turn around and pick it up. Is he waiting? Looks like he's going to wait. It's risky to wait, though, because you never know. He doesn't have any ward coverage. The enemy could come and steal at any moment. When I'm in his position, I often just say, screw it, I'm taking it. He's taken so much damage in so much time. Really poor play, I think, by the Ahri. She did not do her Shaco any favors there by not coming to take that blue buff. Alrighty, so the gold lead for the blue team is up at 5k gold now. The 15-minute mark has passed. The Ahri is at 114 CS to Ryze's 66, so she's 50 CS ahead. In the top lane, the Olaf is at 96, and the Wukong's at 42, so he is far ahead. The bottom lane, the Ezreal, is down 20 CS to the Graves, so thankfully for purple team, their top lane and their mid lane are both losing by a lot. Thankfully, their AD carry is faring more. However, despite being up 20 CS, Graves is 0-1-0 compared to Ezreal, who's 4-0-2. So because of that, Ezreal has picked himself up a nice pickaxe and a BF sword, whereas Graves just has the BF sword. Graves does, however, have the Vamp Scepter for that bit of sustain, whereas Ezreal just has, is he really 4 health potions? 4 of them? Count them. That's quite a few health potions there, Mr. Ezreal. I'm not sure that's a good choice to buy that many health potions. Really, we should be transitioning into the Vamp Scepter, especially on Ezreal, who gets lifesteal from his Q, I believe it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's his Q. It procs on hit effects, such as lifesteal. So Vamp Scepter very strong in Ezreal. Ahri missing her charm, the Amumu ultimate just barely stunning Ahri, which is enough to pick up the kill. That's only their second kill of the game. They have to commit a lot to get it. Meanwhile, Olaf picked off the Ryze in the back, just sort of soloed him, kicked his butt. So, Amumu ultimate, it's a long cooldown. I forget how long, but it's one of the longer cooldowns in the game. Using it for 1 kill is usually sometimes not a great choice. Graves doing some damage over the wall. However, Graves has a low range AD carry and not really able to hit these champions from that far away. However, he's now actually in full retreat. Wukong is being killed by this Ezreal, but he does manage to pick off the Shaco before he gets killed by this Ezreal, who is chasing him, and one more Q from the Ezreal will finish him off. He misses, unfortunately, but the Q, no, will he use the teleport forward move? Wukong actually jukes out the teleport forward, goes into this brush, continuing to juke out this Ezreal quite handily, and he finally manages to pick off the Wukong. It took quite a while. Graves uses his little dash over the wall, quick draw over the wall, and I think both teams appear to be disengaging. So 11-3, the hero kill score. The blue team lead is still hovering around the 5k, 6k gold mark. Closer to 5k than 6k now. Ari's picked herself up a Will of Nations, which is she doesn't have too much synergy on her team. She's got a Shaco and a Lulu, which isn't really the best teammate. Certainly not a double AP carry kind of team comp, but still a strong item nevertheless. Even just on her own, it really gives her a lot of sustain if she can stay in the team fights for long. Her cooldowns are pretty short, so. On the other hand, Rise still on only Sorcerer Shoes, Tear of the Gods. He's actually picked himself up a Negatron Cloak, which is, I guess he feels he's behind and he needs to not die to the Ari Burst. Shaco is chasing this Janna, who's going in for a ward. She may regret that. She uses her ultimate to push him away. However, this Ari is here. She melee into Charm on the Janna. Instead, she tries to hit on the Graves. She misses it on the Graves, but she may kill him anyways. She ignites him and just barely picks off the kill with the ignite to finish off the Graves. So Lulu has picked up an Oracle, so they have counterwarded the Dragon, which they are surely going to want to do. Ari is meanwhile trying to steal the blue buff. Janna has plopped down a ward that spots her, but it doesn't look like her team is in position. Lulu is around to try and back her up over the side, but she's kind of a bit spread out. She doesn't want to get caught out of position since she does have that Oracles. Ari is trying to finish off this golem, but I do not think she's going to be. She managed to finish off the golem. She does steal the blue buff, and it was good for her because she was at low mana. She spent a lot of mana trying to kill that. She really needs to recover that mana with the blue buff. Shaco is here. Is he going to make any kind of... The Amumu bandage toss is coming in. Amumu uses ultimate. It's down 3 people. Good ultimate from Amumu. The Olaf is at very low health. He picks off 1 kill on the Janna real quick. However, he's kind of running away at half health. He should be turning around and fighting, I think. But the Shaco deceives over the wall. Shaco running away. Ezreal is on this Wukong at low health, but Ezreal's at low mana, and he's now being turned on by 3 people. He does take out the Amumu, but he is killed by the Wukong. However, Olaf is still here, and Olaf turns on the Wukong, takes him out real quick. Ari is up top, doing she may pick off a kill on this. No, she misses her orb reception. Doesn't look like she's gonna land Charm. Not gonna kill on this Rise or this Graves. That was a 3-for-2 trade in favor of the blue team, but they're not gonna, or actually they picked up the Dragon too, so now their gold lead is 8k gold, full 8k, just almost exactly 8k, which is pretty good for them. Ezreal's actually picked himself up a Infinity Edge and a Zeal, whereas Graves is only on a BF sword, so pretty significant lead for the blue team at this point in time. They are very strong. They may be forcing a Baron fight soon, since their lead is very significant. That might be a good play to make. One thing to be careful about, though, is this Amumu ultimate. If there's another situation where Amumu uses his ultimate, then would be a good time to force a Baron fight if possible, because even though they're ahead, the Amumu ultimate could be quite strong if he can catch them at Baron and ult them while they're still at Baron. Baron will continue to do a lot of damage, and his team will do a lot of damage to them, especially if they're all in the pit and Rise pops his ultimate to do a lot of AoE to them. Could be dangerous, so they may be a bit hesitant to make that Baron play because of the teamfight potential coming out from this Amumu, and also the Janna ultimate can be quite strong too in teamfights. It's very sort of situational. The pink ward goes out from the blue team, or from the purple team, but they're not able to kill it in time. Ari goes in on this Rise, picking him off real quick, catching him out of position, going in on the Janna now. Her Charm CD is going to be back up any second. Grace fires off a smoke screen just to prevent Ari from killing the Janna. However, Ari is actually going in on this Amumu. Amumu still has his ultimate, and if they dive him, he may choose to use it. Ari has been knocked up by a Janna tornado. She takes a couple tower hits. Ezreal uses his ultimate on the Amumu. Amumu just ults this Ari, only the Ari. Ari is shielded by the Lulu, ulted by the Lulu, running away from this Wukong who's ulted her. She does go down. Lulu a bit out of position. She doesn't want to die with his oracles. However, Ezreal is still here. Ezreal very strong, much stronger than Graves. I think he could be... he is going to flash over the wall any second. No, he doesn't manage to pick off killing Graves. He does die. So, purple team may want to try and go for the Baron. I don't think they could right now. There's still a Shaco who's lurking, trying to pick off anyone at low health who overextends, perhaps. Oh, actually, jeez, I missed Olaf soloing the Baron, so... Meanwhile, while that fight was happening, Olaf and Shaco took down the Baron while I was casting the action there. So, big win for blue team. That's got to be pretty much the game right there. things are not looking good for the purple team since they just gave up the Baron. They're down 7 kills against 16. There's a big minion wave pushing bottom lane. Looks like Ari's going to be coming over to farm that. Ari's actually picked up a needlessly large rod. Seems to be building a Rabin's Death Cap about halfway there now. Shaco is pretty underwhelming items at this point. He's got the mobility boots, the wriggles, and the wit's end. Lulu is very typical support items, building into that Trelia. She'll be finished that in a moment, no doubt. Ezreal's still on the Infinity Edge. Zeal. Olaf has picked himself up a Warden's Mail, very tanky Olaf build, extremely tanky. So Moon bandages the Shaco, getting a stun off on him. It's quite easy spot with Shaco's the real Shaco since he does with the Baron buff, blue buff active. Can't do any shenanigans hiding which one's the real one. Ari is turned around from farming the bottom lane at the tower, the big wave that's where to pushing it. However, there's a team fight perhaps about to break out in mid. The ultimate from the Mumu is still on cooldown for just a little while longer. They're doing a bit of poke, however, the Baron buff is regenerating the poke quite nicely, although not everyone has the Baron buff. Sadly, Ezreal does not have it, and he did not build a Sheen or anything, so he's pretty low mana. However, Olaf does pick off a kill on this Rise. Janna flashes away from the Olaf. The Wukong is going in for the Shaco. However, Shaco is deceiving himself over the wall. We're getting away from that quite handily. So Rise went down and Lulu went down. A bit unfortunate since Lulu did have the Oracles. So you never like losing the Oracles, but no real big deal, really. Graves getting a buckshot in from the side. Ari ulting in on the Graves. She does ignite on the Graves. The reckless swing from the Olaf. So much damage to finish off the Graves. The Amumu is here. Amumu, he uses ultimate in that team fight, so it is down, so he can't really defend this too successfully. Meanwhile, Ezreal is about to push the middle tower. He should be able to take it. He does have this Olaf here to help, and they should be able to take this no problem. So the blue team has all of their towers active, whereas the purple team has lost 5 towers, so that's part of the massive gold lead for the blue team, which is now 11k, almost 12k gold lead, which is simply huge. This game is not looking to be working out too well for the purple team. They really need to get very good positioning off for a team fight. Sadly, even with their Amumu, as strong as Amumu is in team fights, being down so far, it's just not enough. Especially against the Olaf is pretty fed. He's 5-0-3, but he's gone for very tanky build, so he's not so much of a. Actually, kind of like the tanky build on. They really just can't kill the Olaf. They don't have the damage essentially. The Graves went for a Bloodthirster instead of Infinity Edge, which is really going to delay his last Whisper. It's kind of a game where Graves would probably want to get a last Whisper. They catch Janna out of position. She gets a Tornado off on the Shaco to try and kill him. However, Lulu gets off a Glitter Lance to slow her down. Ezreal is coming in. He hits her with his ultimate and a Q and his flash move. I forget what his flash move is called. So Mumu heading back to base, he does have his ultimate. He picks himself up a Shrelia, so Mumu is a bit tankish too, but they're really not going to be certainly focusing the Mumu. Their priority target is probably Rise. Rise actually is in that tanky. He only has his Catalyst. Actually, sorry, I missed a kill. Ari picks off a kill on the Rise while I'm talking about him not being very durable. She proves me true. She's finished off her Death Cap, which is enough to take him down very quickly. Despite his Negatron Cloak for resist, he is just so far behind. He's only, what level is he? He's level 12 and Ari's level 17, so when your AP mid is 5 levels behind, it's not going to go well. And not only that, but the jungle's 14 against 13, the support is 11-10, the AD is 15-13, and the top is 15-12, so pretty significant level advantage, not just the goal advantage, but the level advantage too is really going to ensure this game to end very quickly. Not a whole lot the purple team can do on this one. Ari's actually split pushing the top lane very successfully. They're not even trying to stop her. Shaco's picking off the blue buff, so they probably don't want to commit to this too heavily. It's hard to be successful in split push. Ari actually getting off an Ice Orb Reception, which almost kills Graves. The Rise Room person slows her down, but she's got so much sustain, she's just going to keep pushing that lane. The Will of the Ancient is actually very strong in Ari if you want to do a kind of split push maneuver, because if she takes a bit of damage from someone coming in to try and stop her, she just heals it back up so quickly. Shaco is really taking his sweet time getting this fight. He really needs to, is he going to race? Really, Shaco? Really? 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 Shaco apparently not needed. They're going to win this game 45 without them. They're just so far ahead that they do not need Shaco. Ezreal ultimate from the bottom lane, which he's trying to push into the top lane just to help them push that lane. They're all over the place. Now he's switched to middle lane. He's really just farming up all over the place. The split push hasn't really taken any towers yet, but they're just farming so much. The purple team's just falling very far behind on CS while the split push goes on. The ultimate from Moon is good. Does catch the Ezreal position, which helps them pick off the Edgel. Now they're switching onto the Lulu. She's taking heavy damage. They pick off the Lulu. Ahri is running away. However, meanwhile, Olaf does manage to take off the top tower. Just one more swing and it will go down. It goes down, but he is in a bit of damage. I'm sure he still has his ultimate up. The Rune Prison from Rise must be available. The Rune Prison goes out. Olaf uses ultimate to break out of the Rune Prison. It also prevents him from being knocked out by the Janna tornado. Now he's going in on the Janna. Another reckless swing. He's probably just choosing to run away instead because he doesn't want to risk his life. He does have the Ahri coming in, so he's going to switch around, turn around with help of his Ahri. They think they can turn this around, even though it's a 4v2. They got this. Wukong using his just clone to try and get away. Ahri taking a lot of damage while Rune Prison. The Graves block shot takes her out. The Olaf kill on the Graves. Meanwhile, Wukong is ignited. He falls down. The Shaco's finally decided to show up. However, he gets Rune Prison. May as well not have come. Moo misses the banish toss. Olaf at half health, which means damage. Very dangerous, however. He's also pretty low mana. So they are... No, Shaco's not backing out. Shaco just wants to take these golems. He managed to get one, however, he's a Rune Prison. The Moo banish toss follow up, taking a lot of damage. Shaco gets a deceive off. Is he going to go for a kill? The Amumu is still here. Amumu doing some headbang, getting off some high damage on the Shaco. However, now this Olaf has shown up to do some damage to this Amumu. He can do pretty high damage despite Amumu's iron because of that true damage. However, Graves has respawned and has rejoined the fight. Ezreal and Lulu also coming in from the bottom. Shaco in some real trouble. He deceives over here. However, Rise is about to spawn minimum when that stealth wears off. And there goes the stealth. The Rise Q. Oh, just barely not enough to get him. However, yes, he goes down, but he does have the Guardian Angels. He's coming back up. His teammates are coming in from the side. However, if he get burst down, no, he uses his ultimate to split his clones to dodge the banish toss from the Mumu. Mumu now taking some heavy damage from the Ezreal, who has the red buff, finishes him off. The Wukong uses his clone to try and get away. However, they have no tower up here, so they're surely going to lose this inhibitor to this Ezreal-Olaf combo. They're actually doing some heavy damage to this Wukong thanks to the red buff slow from the Ezreal. Lulu here as well. Janet gets off Tornado just in case they were going to continue to kill her Wukong. They pick off the inhibitor, which is more or less what they came for. Baron is back up, so they probably want to go for that Baron. Shaco and Ahri are picking up this blue buff. It's certainly going to be going to Ahri. Did she use her ultimate? She used her ultimate to kill that blue buff, which I can't say that's a good choice. They spotted Olaf trying to recall in the bush. However, he got away with it. Ezreal's dueling this Graves quite successfully. Now he's going to be switching the Wukong. No, he's not going to go for the Wukong because he's all alone. He's worried about the support from the Rise, Janna, or whoever coming in. Meanwhile, Shaco and Ahri pushing the bottom lane. The banish toss in from the Amumu doing a bit of damage. Shaco splitting up with his clone. Amumu using his ultimate, catching the Ahri. They're probably going to go for the Ahri. They pick off the Shaco quite easily. Now for the Ahri. Ahri at very low health. She is going down quite quickly. A bit over-aggressive. They almost picked up the tower, but not quite. Not a very good play to make when Baron was up. The enemy team could, the purple team could really make a play for Baron after picking up the kill on the Ahri Shaco. We'll see if they do that. But it may be a bit hard for them because they do have to worry about the top lane being pushed in due to the inhibitor dying. The purple team pings their blue buff, but it has of course been stolen. They should have been aware of the fact that Ahri had it when they killed her, and that I'm not sure who got the kill. Who's the blue buff? I think Amumu has the blue buff now. Janna warding and Baron with the True Sight Ward. She hasn't really been had enough gold for any oracles, sadly for her. She's only on Shrelia's normal boots of speed and Heart of Gold, whereas Lulu's picked up basically a Kindle Gem and the Boots of Lucidity over her. Kindle Gem, a bit of a strange choice since she already does have the Shrelias. I guess she figures with a Olaf and Ezreal that Zeke's Herald will work quite well. However, Olaf has also picked up a Kindle Gem, so it looks like they're both working towards the Zeke's Herald, maybe. Maybe Olaf will instead just get a second Shrelias, and Lulu will get the Zeke's Herald, but hopefully they communicate and don't end up with two Zeke's Heralds, which would be a bit embarrassing. You always want to communicate those aura item purchases. So Ezreal's picked himself up a Last Whisper, in addition to his Infinity Edge Fan Mantle, so very high damage there. Sadly, Graves picked up the Bloodthirster instead of Infinity Edge, so he's on Bloodthirster. Phantom Dancer, and it looks like he's picking up a Last Whisper next, so he has really delayed that Infinity Edge. He is just not going to get it. Usually that's a much higher priority, but Grace has chosen to delay it, and probably not a good choice. Ari's actually sold, I think she had 2 Doran's rings. She sold one of them. She picked up a Rylai's Crystal Scepter. So she is very hard to get away from. Now they're pinging this Baron. They really want to finish off this Baron and then probably proceed to win the game. Oh, sorry, I missed a kill on the Olaf. He overextended a little bit. Ezreal was with him, taking some damage. Ezreal and Olaf really should have been at this Baron. They weren't really communicating with their team, and their teammates had the right call on this one. I think the Baron was the priority objective, not the inhibitors. Go for the Baron first, pick it up, easy pick up. Make sure the enemy don't get it. Even take the dragon just to be super safe if they want. Since they lost the Olaf, they probably don't need to push down a man. It'd be safer to just go for the dragon, I think. We have Shaco going for the dragon in 3 and then pushing, so I'm really not sure if these 3 should push alone. The entire enemy team is up. It looks like Jen is AFK at Fountain. No, she was just waiting for her Shuralius to finish. Enough gold for the Shuralius. Looks like they're going to be able to defend this tower just fine. Iris blue buff's got to be close to expiring, I think. I'm not too sure about that one. Can you see buff durations? How do you see buff durations? Oh, they're there. It's about halfway that done. So the entire blue team has respawned. We were just essentially waiting for them to group up and end this game with a game-winning push in all likelihood. Shaco, is his Guardian Angel active? Where is Shaco? No, Shaco's Guardian Angel is on. No, it's actually rearming or coming back up very soon. So Shaco will have his Guardian Angel up. Lulu finished off Lulu has Zeke's, Olaf has Zeke's, so poor play from them. Whenever you're going to build an item, you should always say, I'm building this team item. And you should also check if anyone else has it. So, poor play on their parts, but it's not really going to matter. Olaf has picked himself up the Randuins and the Warmogs and Hextricker, pretty standard Olaf build. Just waiting for them to commit to this push. They will probably be able to dive quite effectively. Olaf is just so durable. He's at over 4,000 life. He can really just dive this. Ari, you're not Olaf. Why are you diving this? She used her ultimate to get over the wall. I'm not sure I agree with that choice. They're going in for this bottom inhibitor, which is a good choice. They can take off the 2 inhibitors that don't have a turret there. Amumu coming in, however, his teammate isn't there. Shaco doing a lot of damage to this Ryze. The Ryze is going down. Jan does use his ultimate to try and protect him from this Olaf. However, Olaf is staying on this Ryze. He finishes them off. Probably going to switch to this Jan and maybe switching to the Wukong instead. Meanwhile, Ari picks off a kill on the Graves. Wukong, his clone, gets him away to up here. Shaco does have the Guardian Angel, so he's in no danger at all. He's trying to take out this inhibitor. Meanwhile, they take out the turret down here. Ezreal picks off the kill on the Janna, and the surrender vote goes through. Good game, well played. KTWC over and out. I hope you enjoyed this cast. I think I enjoyed spectator mode. I think I managed to have decent frames per second. My computer's not that great, but yep, I hope that worked out okay. I hope you enjoyed.